Alright, welcome everybody, Aesop Grimm here, and this is the intro video for a brand new series that we're going to be doing on Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a re-release of the iconic Mass Effect series. It includes 3 games, Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. They have been upscaled, higher resolution, better graphics. I'm not sure about the higher resolution, but it's better graphics and better UI for the games. But let's do the content briefing. That's the primary purpose of these intro videos. This is a kind of game that I don't normally have on this channel. I made this channel during quarantine, and or maybe just prior to quarantine. And if it was just prior to quarantine, then when quarantine happened, the focus and purpose of my channel changed with quarantine. This channel is designed to be widely available to families. People are working from home. You have stay-at-home moms, and you have kids in the room. And so I give content briefings to give people a heads up on what's coming so that they can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to look for something else on YouTube. But this game was made in 2007. We're now talking about Mass Effect 1 because I'm going to do 3 separate chronicles on this game, one for each iteration of Mass Effect. So the ESRB rating for Mass Effect, which was written in 2007, does not include a summary. There's no summary for it, but it does have a rating, and the rating is M for mature, and they say it's for age 17 plus, and they give it that rating for blood, language, partial nudity, sexual themes, and violence. If you move to commonsensemedia.org, which is my go-to rating website, I always give the ESRB rating up front because that's the official rating, but I really like commonsensemedia.org. And so I wrap up with them, and they rate it at age 18 plus. They give it 4 out of 5 stars, and they describe it as ambitious space journey with mature themes. If you scroll down, they have various categories that they rate these games in. Positive messages gets 3 out of 5 stars. Violence gets 3 out of 5 stars. Sex gets 4 out of 5 stars. So you can see that romance and romantic interactions are a central theme of this game, according to Common Sense Media, and I would agree with that. It's not the overall, but it's a central core theme. Language gets 3 out of 5 stars. Consumerism is not present according to them, and drinking, drugs, and smoking also not present. What parents need to know. Parents need to know that this game has one brief sex scene involving an apparent female alien. The scene more alludes to sex as opposed to showing graphic acts, but the encounter even occurs when you create a female character, which opens the door to same-sex relationships. Okay, that's true. Now, in my chronicle, we're going to be running a male heterosexual main character. The main character's name is Shepard, and we're going to be running that's his last name. Or her, you can make a female Shepard, but I'm going to be making a male heterosexual Shepard. So in this chronicle, you're not going to see any of that stuff. But if you buy the game or you let your kids play it, those options are available. Okay, moving on with the description from Common Sense Media. The endgame violence is on par with most shooters, but is not gratuitous. Players will shoot with pistols, shotguns, and rifles, and use grenades. But the focus of this game is on the interactive storyline, where players decide the dialogue of their character, leading to moral decisions about whether you traverse the galaxy as a diplomatic hero or a renegade willing to bend the laws, and these decisions have consequences. And that's why this game has mature themes. Themes as in plural. It's not just in the area of romance. This game is extremely well written. It's got terrific dialogue, terrific voice acting. It's an excellent storyline, and it really pulls you in. This game right here might be the modern, I guess, catalyst to how we use the word immersion when it comes to video games these days. They really draw you in and you feel like a part of the world, and they put you in situations where you have to make moral decisions, and sometimes they're heart-wrenching and very difficult, and there's big things at play. They have far-reaching. Your choices, no matter which choice you make, it's going to have a long-reaching ripple effect, and all of that is designed to pull at your heartstrings, and so it's emotionally engaging, and I believe that's why everybody describes it as having mature themes. These are mature themes. Now, when it comes to deciding whether or not it's too mature for your kids or not, I think a good frame of reference is the movie rating system. If there's ever been a parallel between a video game rating and a movie rating, it's this series right here. This game plays like a movie. And so, what you would allow your kids to view in your home um, by themselves, unchaperoned, is probably a good indicator of whether or not you want them to see this game. If I was to give this game a rating, Mass Effect 1, now I'm going off of memory here, guys. Mass Effect 1, I would say PG-13, I think. But Mass Effect 2 and 3 probably are. But I am going off of memory. But then we have the for Mass Effect 1 that we're looking at right now, we have their two ratings. Both the ESRB and Common Sense Media say it's rated M for mature, and it's for a 17 to 18-year-old plus audience. So I think I'm backed up on that. But it's your choice. I just want to be able to give you the ability to make an informed decision. All right, that's going to wrap it up for our content briefing. Let's move into what we're going to be doing with this game. I made a custom-made character. It's a male shepherd. We're going to be playing as a vanguard. My first playthrough on this game, I played as a biotic. What did they call that? An adept. That's the class. An adept. Now, that it turned out that adept class was like widely considered to be the most OP class in the game, so that could be a part of why I enjoyed it so much. But I know myself well enough to be able to tell you firmly that was right up my alley. Also, as far as combat style and things of that nature. I really, really enjoyed playing as an adept. But now that I'm doing another playthrough, I want to play as a different class. But I love biotics. So that's how I settled on Vanguard. Vanguard is the up close and personal, in your grill, close quarters combat with biotics as a supplement class. That's what a Vanguard is. So we're going to give that a shot. I had to choose, because we're going to be playing 3 games worth. Making preliminary choices is kind of important. And so I had to pick out, who am I going to romance this time around? My first time around, I romanced Tali. Okay. Maybe I'll share that story with you first so that you get an idea of, well, I don't really know if it's important or not in the long run, but I think this is kind of a funny story and it gives some context. Why did I pick Tali? If you're looking at the picture, Tali is that front female character with the mask on. What? Well, it's because in 2007, whenever I played this game, I was like 26 years old. And I was self-aware enough to understand that I had already found out through doing my own research and kind of looking at history and stuff that one of the common mistakes that we make as a species is hubris. We always think that we know what we're getting into, or that we have enough knowledge that we can figure out the unknown. We don't really consider the unknown ripple effects. That's not a thing for us. We don't. It's a little hard for me to describe. The best way I ever heard it explained, I can't even really fully remember, but it was like when we started sailing the ocean and we got away from coastal sailing, there were all kinds of unknown dangers that we ran into and it completely stunned us. And the whole reason is because human beings consistently go off into the wild blue yonder, knowing that they're going to discover new stuff, but feeling like they're well equipped to handle whatever comes. We don't really consider the unknown to be a bad thing. We consider the unknown to be enticing, right? And so because of that, it makes us a little bit cavalier. Okay. Well, when this video game introduced romancing as an option, my red flags went up. Now, I don't know if yours didn't. I'm not trying to cast any kind of judgment. I'm describing my own experience here. My red flags went up, and I was like, is that something I want to introduce into my mind? I don't know. What are the hidden implications here? And if that sounds silly to you, then I don't know what to say about it. This was something that was, to my knowledge, not common at the time. It was new. It was you didn't play video games for that kind of a thing. You didn't expect to see that in a video game. Video games were about killing dozens of bad guys on the battle screen, you know, uh, mostly combat oriented or adventure oriented. And this was now introducing emotional, psychological elements through relationship stuff with in a digital world. And I thought that's weird. For me, it seemed real cringy. And more than just cringy, it seemed like what are the unforeseen things I could be getting myself into? Okay, so that gives you the frame of reference, the frame of mind that I had. And one of the reasons I picked Tally is because I was thinking, I actually, if I recall correctly, I thought I would play the game without doing any romancing, but the way the game went and the way the character was written, it kind of draws you in. And I can't really remember if it really steers you hard in that direction. Like it seems to me that if I did not want to romance one of these characters, I would actually have to be mean to them to kind of get them to leave me alone. And I didn't want to do that. You're the team lead. And these characters are all noble beings, all of these people. Which, by the way, if you look at the bottom left there, I'll tell you that front female in the mask, that's Tali. She actually has a much longer name. Let me look that up real quick. Mass Effect Tali. It's like Tali Zamora or Tali Zora. There's an apostrophe like you see with some Arabic names. It's Tali apostrophe Zora. Nar Raya is her name. And then right behind her, the male that you see, that's Caden Alinko. Up above him, the large female face that you see, that's Liara Tassoni. Down to her right, the turtle-looking guy with the gun, that's Garrus. And then another turtle-looking guy to his right is Erdnot Rex. And then to his right is Ashley Williams. So going back to this story about my original playthrough, I went ahead and eventually I was getting into the romance dialogues with Tali. I honestly can't remember any kind of. I just don't remember any sex scene with her. I might have skipped past it even. Maybe it wasn't important to me, and I was like, get to the action. I don't know. Get to the next mission. I honestly just cannot remember. But I did romance her, and I had picked her because I felt like that was the most detachment. I mean, she's in a biochemical suit, the entire time. She doesn't really have a face. It's hidden behind the mask. I felt like that would be the least involved in meshing one out there. But I did that through 3 games, and whatever the choices that I made were, they led me to this point in Mass Effect 3 where I had to make a choice. Tally, I can't remember all the context here, guys. I'm remembering a long ways back. And Tally's entire people who are spaceborne. They don't have a planet. They're a nomadic group of people looking for a permanent home, if I recall correctly. But their entire species is on a caravan, basically, of ships. And something had happened where they would all die if we didn't do something about it. And we were planet side, we were boots on the ground, and we were in a position to nullify whatever threat it was that was going to completely wipe her people out. But whoever went on this mission to do that was guaranteed they were going to die. There's no way. There was no other option. You would have to sacrifice yourself in order to accomplish this task. And Tally was pleading with me to let her go. And I tell you what, man, and you had the option. You were the commander. You're Commander Shepard. It's your unit. You have military authority here. And so I didn't have to let her go, but I was sitting there. I'm like, it's her versus her entire population, and she's telling me, she's sitting there pleading with you, don't make her a monster, don't make her have to live with the fact that she could have done something but didn't, and now she's the last remaining member of her whole species. She puts forth a real case, and I let her go. And it may sound crazy as heck, I don't know, but I had tears roll down my cheek on that. It was devastating, and this is from the perspective of somebody who was not going to get into this. I didn't want to bother with it. I picked Tally because she's the farting gas mask girl. Like, whatever, like, okay, it's not going to yank on my heartstrings too much, and I can avoid whatever kind of weird ripple effects might be involved in this new whole video game romancing thing that I'm really uncomfortable with, right? and none of that worked. When I had to sacrifice her, I had tears. Now I didn't bawl, right? It's not like I didn't descend into a massive a puddle of emotions or anything. I reserve that for movies about ill-fated lovers on supposedly unsinkable ships, but I did have tears slip down my cheeks on this. And so that's to give you an indication that this video game series is really, really well written. And who we're going to romance is kind of a serious question that I needed to decide up front. And gosh, I was torn. It was a war, guys, in my mind because, okay, why is it important? I mean, this is the content that we're dealing with. It's cringy and it has the potential to sound weird as heck, but it is an important decision for you're going to be playing 3 games worth. You better get this right. I mean, you don't have to. You can go through, you can romance characters left and right if you want to, but that's not how I am. I've never been like that. Like IRL, I'm not like that, and not even close to I don't like it. I despise that. It does not work for me. I am one person, and then sink everything into that, right? And so that doesn't appeal to me. I want to have that one romance partner for Shepard through all 3 titles. So this is a really important decision, and I had to decide between Liara and Ashley, and it was really hard for me to figure out. So I did some research, and it sure seems to me like Liara is considered the canon vanilla best relationship for Shepard, has the best ending, has the best dialogue options, has the most scenes, the most interactivity, whereas I think in Mass Effect 2, Ashley kind of falls off the grid a little bit for a little while, it seems. But both, man, it was a really, really tough choice. But you can tell from the picture, I went ahead and decided on Liara. I want to see how that pans out. I've experienced the tally side, and now I'm going to check out and see what the how this works out for Shepard with Liara. Another way that wound up making sense, and I didn't know this until just recently, but whenever I went to go make my Commander Shepard, I tried different skin options, I tried different hairstyles, and I tried different hair color. And the one that wound up looking the most appealing to me, there were several that looked good, right? But the one that was had the most characteristics to him, the most distinctiveness, ended up being a middle-aged shepherd. This is a guy that's got, he's the whole salt and pepper thing. He's got the black, gray, silver kind of hair coming in. He looked really good with a beard, but I tried the mustache with the little, I don't know what to call it, the little goatee at the underlip thing. It's like the Spaniard pirate mustache, and made that a little bit darker than the salt and pepper hair that he's got. I gave him a short haircut, and he looks fantastic. I think he looks like the consummate grizzled veteran Marine that has been through 2 wars, and he's like a master sergeant and he's the leader of his battalion. The thing that I waffled on with that was that he's playing a very, very physical class. He's a vanguard. And I thought to myself, does that make sense, man? I mean, this would have to be somebody that had extremely high stamina. They're at the apex of their strength, and their vitality. A young guy would make more sense, wouldn't it? But that's not always the case. And how this guy looks, the fact he's going to be a commander of a team, I like the idea that he might have a backstory and have some experience beyond what even a young guy might have, even if he's been to war. And that actually makes Liara make more sense because she is young for her species. And I can't remember what her species is called, but they're the space elves. So they live into the thousands of years. And she's very young for her age, for her species, but in human years, she's 100 years old, something like that. She's around 100. And so she's actually older and wiser and more experienced than our guy is, even though he's middle-aged for a human. So it actually works out really super well. That dovetails surprisingly well. I was stunned. I didn't plan that, and I'm really happy with how those two things came together. So that's where we're going with it. We have kind of a middle-aged shepherd. We're going to play as a colonist. And the psychological profile is that I'm going to take war hero. I really thought I wasn't going to do it because and apparently everybody else thinks that way too. It seemed like a little bit too cheesy and over the top, kind of like a 1980s movie, like, oh, war hero, okay, whatever, But whenever I started watching some YouTube videos to see, to kind of research the game, I forget why I was watching. I think I was watching them to decide if I wanted to buy the game. And I noticed everybody was taking Soul Survivor, which I did too. I did whenever I played Mass Effect 1. And I want to do something else now. So because everybody else is taking Soul Survivor, I actually made our guy a war hero. And so the fact that he's middle-aged actually it dovetails really well with that as also. He's been around the block. He's proved himself. He's got medals on his chest. He's experienced. And so that's what we're going to run with. And I think we'll just wrap it up right there. This is going to be Mass Effect 1. We're playing a male shepherd, heterosexual, vanguard, middle-aged, and he's going to romance Liara. Now, when we get into game, a lot of it's going to unfold live. It's been a long time since I've touched this game, so it's not like I'm well versed in the decisions I'm making and stuff, and we'll have to try and find these companions. I don't remember how that works out, but I sure am looking forward to it because this is a terrific story, and And I hope that it makes for a good series for you guys to watch and that you'll enjoy it with me. But let's go ahead and wrap it up there. This was a 25-minute intro video. And the next episode is going to be episode number 1, where we will do character creation. I already have the character code saved, so that'll be quick and easy. And we'll get right into it, into mission 1, right there in episode 1. All right, guys. Again, I'm Aesop Grimm. Thanks for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. This is Christmas Eve. I want to wish a very Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and or Happy Holidays, depending on what your background is. And I'll see you guys in the next episode where this story continues, or actually where this story begins.